Some people want to see you fail, disappoint them. Stop doubting yourself, work hard and make it happen. You may not be able to control every situation and its outcome, but you can control your attitude and how you deal with it. You will never be good enough for everybody, but you will always be the best for someone who really appreciates you. Rule of life is very simple: hunt or get hunted. If money and material things make you believe you are better than others, you are the poorest person on earth. Behind every strong person is a story that gave them no choice. If you don't know the whole story, then don't open your mouth. Every human life contains a potential. If that potential is not fulfilled, then that life was wasted. The privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are. The greatest and most important problems of life are all fundamentally insoluble. They can never be solved, but only outgrown. I am not what happened to me. I am what I choose to become. Who looks outside dreams. Who looks inside awakes. We cannot change anything until we accept it. Condemnation does not liberate, it oppresses. There is no coming to consciousness without pain. The debt we owe to the play of imagination is incalculable. Knowledge rests not upon truth alone, but upon error also. Often the hands will solve a mystery that the intellect has struggled with in vain. It all depends on how we look at things, and not how they are in themselves. Great talents are the most lovely and often the most dangerous fruits on the tree of humanity. They hang upon the most slender twigs that are easily snapped off. A man who has not passed through the inferno of his passions has never overcome them. An understanding heart is everything in a teacher and cannot be esteemed highly enough. One looks back with appreciation to the brilliant teachers, but with gratitude to those who touched our human feeling. The curriculum is so much necessary raw material, but warmth is the vital element for the growing plant and for the soul of the child. Where love rules, there is no will to power, and where power predominates, love is lacking. The one is the shadow of the other. The creation of something new is not accomplished by the intellect, but by the play instinct acting from inner necessity. The creative mind plays with the objects it loves. Shame is a soul-eating emotion. The rational attitude which permits us to declare objective values as valid at all is not the work of the individual subject, but the product of human history. Nothing has a stronger influence psychologically on their environment, and especially on their children, than the unlived life of the parent. The least of things with a meaning is worth more in life than the greatest of things without it. To ask the right question is already half the solution of a problem. To me, dreams are part of nature, which harbors no intention to deceive, but expresses something as best it can. The capacity for directed thinking I call intellect. The capacity for passive or undirected thinking I call intellectual intuition. Sometimes, indeed, there is such a discrepancy between the genius and his human qualities that one has to ask oneself whether a little less talent might not have been better. I have always been impressed by the fact that there are a surprising number of individuals who never use their minds if they can avoid it, and an equal number who do use their minds, but in an amazingly stupid way. Everything that irritates us about others can lead us to a better understanding of ourselves. Creative powers can just as easily turn out to be destructive. It rests solely with the moral personality, whether they apply themselves to good things or to bad, and if this is lacking, no teacher can supply it or take its place. That which compels us to create a substitute for ourselves is not the external lack of objects, but our incapacity to lovingly include a thing outside of ourselves. A dream that is not understood remains a mere occurrence. Understood, it becomes a living experience. A special ability means a heavy expenditure of energy in a particular direction, with a consequent drain from some other side of life. We should not pretend to understand the world only by the intellect. We apprehend it just as much by feeling. Therefore, the judgment of the intellect is, at best, only the half of truth, and must, if it be honest, also come to an understanding of its inadequacy. If a man knows more than others, he becomes lonely. I regret many follies which sprang from my obstinacy, but without that trait, I would not have reached my goal. As any change must begin somewhere, it is the single individual who will experience it and carry it through. The change must indeed begin with an individual. It might be any one of us. Nobody can afford to look round and to wait for somebody else to do what he is loath to do himself. The greatest and most important problems of life are all fundamentally insoluble. They can never be solved, but only outgrown. A man who has not passed through the inferno of his passions has never overcome them. Your vision will become clear only when you can look into your own heart. Who looks outside dreams, who looks inside awakes. I am not what happened to me. I am what I choose to become. The first half of life is devoted to forming a healthy ego. The second half is going inward and letting go of it. It is often tragic to see how blatantly a man bungles his own life and the lives of others, yet remains totally incapable of seeing how much the whole tragedy originates in himself and how he continually feeds it and keeps it going. I shall not commit the fashionable stupidity of regarding everything I cannot explain as a fraud. Resistance to the organized mass can be effected only by the man who is as well organized in his individuality as the mass itself. The shoe that fits one person pinches another. There is no recipe for living that suits all cases. Knowing your own darkness is the best method for dealing with the darknesses of other people. The acceptance of oneself is the essence of the whole moral problem and the epitome of a whole outlook on life. We cannot change anything unless we accept it. Condemnation does not liberate, it oppresses. Find out what a person fears most, and that is where he will develop next. If an attractive woman is single, it's because she's smarter than everyone else. The pendulum of the mind oscillates between sense and nonsense, not between right and wrong. No tree, it is said, can grow to heaven unless its roots reach down to hell. Where wisdom reigns, there is no conflict between thinking and feeling. Man needs difficulties. They are necessary for health. There are as many nights as days, and the one is just as long as the other in the year's course. Even a happy life cannot be without a measure of darkness, and the word happy would lose its meaning if it were not balanced by sadness. Nobody can fall so low unless he has a great depth. If such a thing can happen to a man, it challenges his best and highest on the other side. That is to say, this depth corresponds to a potential height, and the blackest darkness to a hidden light. In all chaos, there is a cosmos. In all disorder, a secret order. Nobody, as long as he moves about among the chaotic currents of life, is without trouble. Mistakes are, after all, the foundations of truth, and if a man does not know what a thing is, it is at least an increase in knowledge if he knows what it is not. As far as we can discern, the sole purpose of human existence is to kindle a light in the darkness of mere being. Faith, hope, love and insight are the highest achievements of human effort. They are found given by experience.